My mom must have known the whole town. Ditch school? Mom would find out probably 10 minutes after I started. Be with a boy that she didn't like? Mom would know. She used to tell me, oh, she had a little birdie that told her. No, my mom had the whole town on speed dial. It's so oppressing. I get so annoyed. Not that I ever ditched school or smoked or anything, but if I did, Mom knew about it. So to illustrate social capital, again, it's a balloon in our bouquet of connection that we've talked about the balloons before being positive and the trauma being like the rocks and negative. So it's a balloon. And to illustrate it, let's talk about foster kids. There's a family, and this woman had one child named Lena. Lena got taken away due to neglect, and she was put in a foster home. In fact, she was put in several different ones. She's kind of bounced around. And Lena didn't have a very good outcome when she turned into a teenager. Like a lot of teenagers, she was kind of a pain. And she made some choices that didn't make her foster parents happy. In fact, they became kind of concerned because they had their own younger children than Lena. And they felt like their own children were now in danger. They didn't like the toxic atmosphere that Lena was causing. For better or worse, they called the state and said, take her back. We're not putting up with this crap. So Lena was taken away from that home, bounced from one to another. Unfortunately, when she aged out of the system, she did not have a safety net. She did not have social capital. She bounced from one boy to another boy, constantly looking for love. It did not end up well for Lena, and she died very young, very tragically. Anyways, let's compare that to Lena's sister. Lena had a sister named Rachel, same mom, different dad, born 2 years after Lena. Now again, Rachel, in her home with her mom, wasn't faring very well. Her mom still wasn't able to take care of her. Her mom, as a side note, was a product of the foster care system herself. She'd been removed at 3 years old, but that's another story. Anyways, Rachel was removed from her mom due to neglect. And Rachel's father was not in a position to take her, and I told you it was a different father than Lena's. But Rachel's father's parents, her grandparents, her biological grandparents, we don't really want her in the system with strangers, will take her. They were older, and that was a challenge, but they loved Rachel, and they raised Rachel. In fact, they ended up adopting Rachel. When Rachel turned into a teenager, she too was kind of a pain. You know, I don't know if you've had teenagers. My teenagers were all different and challenging at that age, as was Rachel. But Rachel had her grandparents, and her grandparents had social capital. Rachel had been in the same school, the same small town, the same church her entire youth growing up. So she knew her coach, she knew her teachers, she knew her church leaders. Of course, she knew her grandparents, she knew her neighbors. She was in the community. So when she became a challenge in teenager, she thought about running away. My grandparents are old. They don't understand. And she did think about running away. In fact, she reports that she packed up. She was going to take off. Her boyfriend was going to meet her around the corner, and they were going to make a life together. And just at the opportune time, the phone rang. And it was for Lena, and it was her coach. And her coach said, hey, I just wanted to talk to you about this upcoming game, yada, yada. I don't know the details. But it was enough that when Lena hung up, she thought, I can't do this. I can't disappoint my grandparents, even though she was mad at them for whatever. Disappoint my coach. She put her stuff back up. Called her boyfriend, said it's not going to happen. Anyways, Lena grew up. She went to college. She got married. She had children. Those children did not become a product of the state. And I don't want to say it was a happy ever after story. As I said, her biological mom had passed away quite young, and of course that made Rachel sad. But like any of us, she just had a stable life, and that's capital, right? You think of Ivy League homes, they get into special colleges because their parents knew a guy, knew the ropes, knew how to do it. Think of the mafia. They got your back. Nobody's gonna mess with you. I'm not saying that foster children need to be raised with mafia and the lack of integrity. But think about the mafia and how they, hey, we got you, like a gang. We got you. You're ours, and we're here to the end. That kind of social capital, not the lack of integrity in the crime. They don't need to be a crime family. But if we look at these foster children and the thing that they lack, the bloom that they oftentimes lack, is this social capital. How many times in business are we told, hey, it's not what you know, it's who you know? And I'll tell you, in my own life, I had to get the credentials and the certifications and the licensing to do the things that I ended up doing. I told you I was an appraiser, I was an assessor. But the social capital that I had absolutely helped, right? Like you're told it's not what you know, it's who you know. I believe that. The connections that you have, you do Toastmasters, you do Chamber of Commerce, you do those things in adult to network. And then something happens in your career and you're thinking, hey, I know this person. You call that person and that person says, yeah, what you need to do is, you need to get your building permits or you need to do this. You knew a guy and it helped. But think of foster children that don't have that safety net. They don't know a guy. They just age out and then that's it. And it's not because they're lazy. It's not because they're stupid. It's because they don't know a guy. So as CASAs or teachers or therapists or coaches or whatever role we're playing, foster parents, grandparents, whatever role we're playing, neighbors, could we be that, hey, I got you. I know a guy. I'm going to tell your mom on you. I saw you around that corner. I care enough to be there for you. Hey, I heard about a job opening. Would you be interested? I think big brothers, big sisters do a good job of that, right? So anyways, that's our lesson today is one bloom in the bouquet of connection to our community, connection to society is social capital. And it's something I haven't seen really spoken about a lot as it relates to children and youth, but it's absolutely needed. And I could talk to you about studies to show that there's more success with this social capital for communities, for individuals, whatever, but I only have a few minutes to talk to you. In the comments, if you have any examples of social capital, how we could do better for our kiddos and create that social capital, please let me know. I know big sisters, big brothers do a good job of that. I hope you like my videos and hit like. I hope you'll subscribe. And of course, I want you to seek the joy, find the good. And at the end of the day, I hope you know you're loved. We need more people like you willing to step up and help these kids. Okay, till next time. Bye-bye.